These chairs are no bueno.
They're really old.
I know, they're cute and all, but damn, fat thighs and split chairs doesn't work very well.
God, I pressed record at the wrong time.
Hello and welcome. We are the Ladies of Strange. I'm Ashley.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Rebecca.
Thank you for joining us each week as we discuss
The history, mystery, and theory
Of all things questionable, odd, and eerie.
And we've brought it back full circle. It's my topic again this week, ladies.
Woo, woo.
Dun, dun, dun.
I had a lot of fun with this one, I'm not going to lie.
I would say you brought us Dr. Death the first time. I'm really excited to see what you do this time.
I'm intrigued because I texted you about a topic that I wanted to cover and you said,
Let's not touch base on that one.
So let's go.
Let's do it.
Woohoo.
Let's get started. How's everybody doing? Tiffany, what's your poison this week?
Hello. Why do you do that? I thought our goal was to, the person who was hosting went first.
No, the person who's hosting goes last so that then it rolls
That is
into...
not what you did for me.
Dang
You did it
it.
yourself, honey. Okay, when I'm hosting, I go last so that way I can roll into my topic. So, Tiffany, how you doing? What's your poison this week?
We can start with me.
I had a list. I don't have my phone in my hand.
All right. Do you want me to start with me?
Let's start with you.
Okay. I adopted a cat in May. And
I just got real excited. I thought you were about to tell us, the whole, I'm pregnant announcement. I thought you were about to say you're about to not, you adopted another cat.
No.
Not pregnant. I thought you were about to tell us you adopted another
I've
cat.
talked about it, but he spent a good month and a half very solidly under the bed before he started coming out and being social.
He's such a sweet
Now
boy.
he's a little too social to the point that I wake up at 2 a.m. and he's on my chest and trying to need my stomach, and I love you and I'm so happy you're out and meeting people, but can you not do this at 2 a.m.?
Can you go back under the bed, please?
I need my sleep. I don't need to be woken up at 2 a.m. I love you. Please stop.
I'm telling you, the best thing I ever did with two cats, best thing hands down, is feed them as I'm walking out the door, because when I wake up, they're like, oh, she's not going to feed us yet. We're just going to chill and do our own thing. And then as I start getting ready, they get excited. And that way they don't wake me up earlier and earlier and earlier. Because it got to a point where they were waking me up 2 hours before I was supposed to wake up.
Well,
hey.
when I wake up in the morning for work, I would never feed him before I was done with the bathroom. But that didn't stop him from trying to wake me up at 4:30.
Yeah, you wake up at 4:30 and he's
I'm I understand
hey,
your
go
logic being that if I wake her up earlier,
You'll get there.
She will use the bathroom earlier and I will eat earlier. No, dude, that's not how this works.
See, okay, you have to keep in mind, depending on how long he was in the shelter, he
would-
probably
yeah.
got used to people walked in the door and
Yeah,
there
that's
was
true.
food in his cage or kennel or room or wherever he was kept.
Yeah, so I'm not
so you've
blaming.
only had him for 5 months.
Exactly. I'm not blaming him. He's the sweetest.
He is.
He's the sweetest cat on earth. So I'm not blaming him. I just need to work a little bit with
He'll get
the
there.
training and boundaries, mainly boundaries.
Cats don't know boundaries if they want to be in your
They really
space.
don't. His version of being spending quality time on me is being on top of my chest and as close as possible to me.
Yeah.
Here's the deal about that. I consider myself, if I were to be a cat or a dog, I would definitely be a dog because I'm hey, look at me. Look what I'm doing. Hey. But when it comes to cats, I'm I could probably be a cat because I get in everybody's personal space. I'm I don't care what you're doing. This is my space now.
Dogs do that too, though.
They do.
Have you ever never been around a dog where your hand's sitting on your leg and they just come up and they're like, nope, it's on my head now and you're going to pet me.
Okay, so maybe I am a dog. Sorry about that. Continue.
So that's how she and her current husband started dating.
Nope, you're on my head now. Or
Accurate.
her current husband. You like
I say that because that's how that happened to me.
Tiffany's first and hopefully only husband. Let's not
Yes.
say current husband, okay?
Yes.
I didn't mean it that anyway.
You said that's what happened to you. Is that how we got you in our grasp? We
Or
were
is
just
that how
"Hey,
Alex
belong to
got
us
you?"
now."
Okay, current relationship. It took him 3 or 4 attempts to ask me out before I finally clicked. Oh,
He's asking me
he's
out.
asking me out. I should probably respond to this.
Yeah, no, mine was the polar opposite. It just kind of like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah,
now.
I'm the cat. I don't know what's going on.
All right, so Tiffany, your poison this week, my love. What's been going on?
My poison this week, and I'm so excited about it.
It just took me like 30 minutes to figure out what.
Well, here's the thing. I have so many different like emotions rolling through me right now
True.
because I've been on this like high, low, high, low, high, low roller coaster since having a child.
Sleep deprivation will do that.
Yes.
Sleep deprivation, the hormones after having a child, all of that, and like my husband and I work kind of opposite schedules. So, like, dealing with a kid full-time and then going to work, and then he's dealing with a kid full-time and then going to work.
It's tough.
It's tough. So, dealing with all of that, my hormones have been, like, up, down. So, I got a lot to, like, filter through. But the one I'm really excited about right now is we reorganized the studio.
Yes.
And
It looks really good.
It does. We've got kind of, if it were to be, I don't know anything about feng shui, but I feel like this is our fun shui going on right now.
Look at you.
Yeah, we got our vision board up. We've got our intro, outro because we're really bad at remembering things. We've got our calendar up. We've got string lights and bat lights. Like, this is feeling good.
Yeah.
I like
So-
it.
I do too. I feel like I was excited about it before, but now it feels like it kind of feels
more
like home.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of has like a nice touch of all 3 of us in here now. It's not just like we're using Tiffany's spare room as a studio.
Yeah, like everybody has their own little touch going on, and it's gonna be more and more. But like, I've got my Lorax tree painting that I did.
I like that.
Thank you. I do too. I'm very proud of those. And then we've got like Ashley's bat lights, and
Yes.
Rebecca's gonna throw her fun shui on it. Like, this is feeling good. This is what I'm excited about right now. And I'm excited that we have our intro outro written down because some of us are
Me.
really bad at remembering what we're supposed to say. So it's good.
Fine. We'll
It's
get
fine.
there.
Yeah. So that's my poison right now.
All right.
Being happy about that.
Good thing to be happy about. It feels nice. It's good. I like it.
What is your poison, Ashley?
I don't want to be like Debbie Downer here.
That's why we're here.
Well, no, and it's not that bad, and it's not. It's going to work out good in the end. I have, when we're recording, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. And for a brief touch on it, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay.
And the only way that I was able to conceive Dominic was starting medication. But it's not a medication that they have you continue when you're pregnant because it can kind of mess with some things. And it's not anything crazy. Like, I could have continued it, but there's not a lot of research about what it does when you're pregnant. So my doctor and I decided
Yeah.
to cut it when I finally did conceive.
Yeah.
But I've kind of noticed I've had an IUD since I had Dominic. So the extremely noticeable symptoms of PCOS as far as like the really bad cramps and the irregularity and all that, I haven't had any of that because my IUD has kind of cut my cycle. I haven't had a cycle since I got it in.
Yay.
Yeah, which is good.
Cheers.
But now that it's been a little while since I've had the IUD, I've kind of started to notice some of the other symptoms.
Yeah.
So it's more like your body is normalizing and you're starting to notice things just kind of creeping back, or?
Well, I think they've kind of been, like, now that my hormones, Dominic's almost 3, so I think now my hormones are finally kind of starting to balance back out, and all of the issues are starting to kind of rear their head
Resurface?
again. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And none of it's insane, but I just kind of want to jump on it again. So I have my appointment with my OB doctor tomorrow, and I think I'm going to talk to her about getting...
So what you're saying is you want a lot of happy GIFs tomorrow sent to your phone.
Yes,
we can do that.
So I have my appointment with him tomorrow morning, and it's not anything crazy. I just want to talk to him about getting back on medicine and getting back on track with this because we're at the point now where Haggard and I are starting to discuss possibly having a second.
Yeah, and health comes first.
Exactly.
Always.
And I don't want to run into the issue that we did after we got married where I got the shock of my life and was told I may not be able to conceive children.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a rough day.
So I just want to go ahead and jump on it now, figure if I can get on the medicine, then when the time comes that we officially make the decision, I get my IUD out and we start trying. If we decide to have a second, I'm good, and I've already taken the precautions. So,
I like
happy
that.
thoughts tomorrow would
Yes,
be greatly
Happy
appreciated.
thoughts. I'm looking to see if I can offer you more wine.
That is
I've had plenty.
not a Debbie Downer. That is in my opinion taking care of yourself
Yeah.
first and That's great. That is wonderful. That's what you should be doing.
Yeah, and it's just one of those, like I said, with the IUD, and then I kind of always brushed it off as like, of course you have hormone issues. You just had a baby, and life's crazy, but he's almost 3 now, and I've noticed some of the symptoms aren't going away.
Yeah.
But also, to be fair, if you're a woman, you're just aware. I'm convinced we all have hormone issues.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's hard.
They're different, but it's also not just you at the same time.
Well,
Yeah,
and the thing
which is refreshing.
Like, I didn't get diagnosed until we started to try. Like, we decided, I told you earlier, Hagrid and I were together for 7 years before we actually got married.
Mhm.
So we knew once we got married, we wanted to start pretty quickly after we got married having kids.
Yeah.
So when I went to my doctor and I was like, here's the plan, we just got married, she was like, well,
Here's
with
the
your
little
piece-
wrench.
Yeah, let's throw a little wrench in that plan, which thank God, compared to some of the struggles that people go with, I
Yeah.
cannot complain about what I went through. But I just don't want that to come up again, because I'm not a very religious person, but I'm very much a, if it's meant to be, it will be kind
Yeah.
of person. So my thought process is I want to be able to get my IUD out for 6 months, a year, whatever Hagrid and I decide together. See
Give it
what
a
happens.
try.
Exactly. And if it happens, we have another kid, we have another kid. If not, we're not meant to have another kid.
On the plus side, little man is incredibly cute.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing.
If you were to only have one, it's a good one to
I
have.
would never complain, but he's so good with babies.
Oh, so I have a 5.5-month-old, and you get him around Adeline, and oh my God, it's so precious.
Yeah.
He carries an Aladdin doll around, and he calls it.
Aw.
Oh no!
that's
Just
right.
wait. He calls it Aladdin. I know.
Yeah.
He's so good with kids, and he
So.
loves his little Adeline. He loves his Adeline. So.
And I know how amazing it was for me to grow up with siblings, so
Yeah.
I want him to have that same experience.
Well,
so.
if the time comes, let me know, and I'll make sure he has his own special blanket. Him,
Aw.
it, them, whatever they may be.
him. Let's put that out in the universe. If I always said growing up before I knew of
See, I just say
The
them so that
issues.
they can decide.
true,
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
But however, I've always said if I could have a conversation with God or goddess that controls these things, whoever it might be, and they were like, have as many as you want and they'll be all boys, I would have a football team. Because your girl knows how to handle boys. You get into some of this girl talk stuff, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what now?
So whenever Adeline, I almost called her Aladeline. So when Adeline gets to that stage, I'm going to be like, go talk to your Aunt Ashley and just watch you squirm.
No,
Does
but
that
I
sound
mean,
good?
I'll figure it out.
I know,
but-
And like, if Adeline is anything like you, she'll enjoy watching the squirming.
Oh,
yeah,
God, yes.
probably.
I'll probably have the talk with her and just be like, okay, now go talk to
Now
your...
just go talk to
Go talk to your eye and just like pretend like you don't know what's going on and see what happens.
Whereas, like, when my time comes, I'm just be like to both of you, what the hell's going on? I don't know. Why are they looking at me?
when my time comes.
I have a cat.
I love it.
Oh, gracious.
All
All right.
So what are we learning about today, Ashley?
Now, it is the day this is releasing is October 25th. Which
You know
means
what's
that-
coming up?
What's coming up, Tiffany?
I'd imagine Halloween.
Oh,
Oh!
Go figure. It's our favorite holiday.
Yay.
I was just about to say, which, as we all know, is the most wonderful
Time of
the
year.
I agree.
So when I was looking at our release schedule, I was toying back and forth. I was like, do I want to do something spooky? Do I want to do something history? Do I want to... So I just kind of went with the basics. So
Woo-woo.
today we're going to be discussing Halloween, a history.
Ooh. I like that.
So, I was quite intrigued when I first started looking into it to see if it was something I wanted to research. And there's a lot that goes into it. I just thought it was like, hey, free candy and slutty ladies.
Which I'm into both.
Candy, alcohol, and slutty costumes. Hello.
Hey, that's why it was my favorite holiday.
Right? So before we go into this, I kind of wanted to ask, because I know I do, and I was talking to Hagrid about it. Do y'all have like a favorite costume that you've done?
Yes. Oh, yes. Can I go first?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
Oh, so I was maybe 6 or 7, and I told my mom I wanted to be a Christmas present. So we had gotten, I don't even remember what we got, but we got something in a large box, and like, it was big enough to where we had to cut some of it off so that I could walk around. And my mom put me in this giant box, wrapped it in Christmas paper, put a bow on my head, and I was a Christmas present, and I was so proud of myself. And we're walking around getting candy, and then my cousin, who was 5 years older than me, got mad at me for something, and she pushed me over in a ditch, and I could not get up. And I remember laying there flailing, thinking, whose stupid idea was this to put a 5 or 6 year old in a box? What is going on here? My mom finally helped me up, and I'm like, this was the worst Halloween costume idea ever. Who would have thought of this? But looking back on it, it was absolutely my favorite.
That's amazing.
See, knowing you, that makes complete sense.
Right? I want to be everyone's gift to the world.
Everybody gets excited about gifts, so they'll be happy when they see me. Hey.
You're so cute.
Thanks.
Rebecca.
Okay, for me, we didn't really celebrate Halloween a lot as a kid because I grew up in not a completely strict religious household, but like Harry Potter and Halloween wasn't really something we celebrated.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Like I turned out okay. I'm doing this podcast.
No, I'm just kidding.
But like my favorite Halloween costume so far was actually from last year when I dressed up as Louise Belcher from Bob's
That
Burgers.
was so good.
That was perfect.
And like I got to wear the ears and I got to say anything I wanted to anybody, and it was funny because I was Louise Belcher.
So you had an excuse.
I had an excuse.
I love that so much. It made me so happy when I
like
saw
whereas
it.
before it was just me insulting people. On that one day it was me being in character.
Right?
Yes.
It's fine.
I
You're
still
in a
have the
character.
ears.
You should.
You should.
They're
You should wear
amazing.
that daily.
Right?
I wish I could.
Just if you
They
need
don't
to like
fit in my car.
if you need to tell somebody off, you need to just like hold on 1 second and like
Whip
reach
'em
down and
out.
grab 'em, pull 'em up.
Hold on 1 sec. Whoop. Here's what I really think.
Exactly, and you're in character, so
Exactly.
it's fine.
It's perfect.
I go back and forth because being the sentimental mom that I am, it was either last year getting to dress up with Dominic for the first time when he actually knew what was going on.
Weren't you a dinosaur last year?
Yes, we were a mama and a baby dinosaur.
You were so
Aw.
cute.
Thank you. So it's either that one or my favorite all time. We didn't have a whole lot of money growing up, so my mom had to be very creative having 3 kids trying to come up with costumes. One of my favorite, and hearing her talk about it now, was dressing me, my brother, and sister up as a clothing line.
Wait, what?
So we just wore clothes, like regular jeans and t-shirt, and she attached string between our shoulders and then hung clothes between it. And we thought that it was the best, cutest idea
coolest
ever.
thing
And now
ever.
she was like, yeah, and you couldn't run away from each other.
Like, that's
So she
hilarious,
just
but
ran-
that sounds exactly like something my mom would do.
Right?
She'd be like, you
So-
guys, look how cute you are, and I can keep track of you at all times.
Exactly.
I love
So it's
that.
a toss-up between that or when I went as a bag of jelly beans, where she just put a trash bag over me and filled it with rainbow-colored balloons, and I went as a bag of jelly beans.
So
Beautiful.
all that I hear from that is that means this year Tiffany is going as Sprinkles.
Oh, shit. I mean, my daughter is going to be a unicorn Pegasus, so I could probably pull off Sprinkles somehow.
Yeah, why not?
I'm down.
She's going as a unicorn Pegasus?
So she's going as a unicorn, but
Do-
it
do you
has
know-
wings.
Do you know what that's called?
What?
Alicorn.
Oh, I learned something new every day. My
I-
daughter is going as an alicorn.
I might not have watched the new My Little Pony for a little bit.
That's fine.
I'm so down
We
with
talked
this.
about My Little Pony yesterday.
Yeah, we went
Really?
to a friend's 3-year-old birthday party. and
That
it
would
was,
be the place you
Yeah.
would talk about My Little
It
Pony.
was My Little Pony themed, and we talked about new versus old and how one of the new characters was talking about, like, when you shake your head and come up with a funny face.
I
And
was about to say PewDiePie, but that's a YouTube.
That is a
star.
YouTube.
Pinkie Pie.
Yeah, so Pinkie Pie was like making crazy faces, and she goes, I bet you can't make a face as crazy as this. And she shook her head, and when you turned back, it was the old My Little Pony, and Amber died laughing, and her daughter was just like,
Why is that so funny?
Tiffany would be Pinkie Pie.
Yeah. Oh, or Twilight Sparkle.
No, that might be me.
Yeah, really?
Well, Twilight Sparkle, her whole thing is she was a bookworm in the castle, and then she was sent out to make new friends.
True.
oh, yeah.
Oh, Rebecca, you're our Twilight Sparkle.
That's not where
Can
I
I
was
call
going
you
with
Twilight Sparkle forever?
Would I be, hey, y'all, I'm Applejack. Feels like I can already hear it now. All the people that
Yes.
have an issue with my hey, y'all, and oh my God, y'all.
See, like, it was a toss-up for Tiffany either being Pinkie Pie or Rarity, and then actually a toss-up between Applejack and Rainbow Dash. And why do I know this?
I'm so happy right now with
I
all
would
of
be
these
fine
options.
with either. Yeah, can I be just like a merge? Can Applejack and I know they're both girls, I think. I don't know.
They are.
Okay, so Applejack and Rainbow Dash are both girls, but can they have a baby and I just be like a
Ooh.
mix between the two?
Yes, they can, and I will explain that in a later episode. episode.
Ooh.
Ah.
She got it on
I
her
got
own
it.
this
I'm
time.
so
Foreshadowing. Okay. Now
Yeah,
that we've
that
been talking.
overshadows my knowledge of My Little Pony.
My Little Pony.
My Little Pony. I'm so
Okay.
happy.
What is
So-
in this rosé?
I don't know, but I want more of it.
So Halloween.
Gone.
We need to have someone bring us more.
Okay.
I'll text my babysitter.
Please do.
So Halloween history.
Halloween.
How do we have?
So that was like my horrible Hermione impression, by the way. Halloween, a history. So Halloween is a patchwork holiday that's stitched together with cultural, religious, and occult traditions.
As all good holidays are.
They should be. Although historians believe that the traditions may go back even further, Halloween can easily be traced back to over 2,000 years ago to the, I always want to say Celts, but it's the Celts, in what is now Ireland, the UK, and northern France.
Okay.
And their Celtic New Year and end of harvest celebration called Samhain.
So, how is it spelled?
Not like it sounds.
Because it sounds like something that would be Native American.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
well, and a lot of pagan stuff kind of traces back like that, but it's SAMHAIN.
Nope, does not sound like it would.
There's no
No.
L in that, which is what I expected.
But it is Samhain.
Okay.
Samhain, which is Celtic for November, began
Ooh.
at sunset on October 31st and carried through the next few days. It was meant to celebrate the end of summer and the harvest.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
end of summer harvest, it was just their celebration to basically like finalize the harvest and to have one last celebration before going into what they considered the dark time of the year.
So, like,
Question.
the end of October would be considered the end of the harvest, which
Yes.
is why it started at November?
It started at sunset on October 31st.
Okay.
I was
So-
just confused because summer ends at the end of September now.
On our
but-
calendar now, but you gotta,
Yeah.
I mean, even though summer technically ends, they could still harvest.
Yeah,
after
it
Because
makes
there's
sense.
a lot of fruits and what have you that continue through fall, such as squash or pumpkin or apples.
Apples.
Right. So it's considered, Samhain is considered the time between years, because this was the Celtic New Year. Their year
Huh.
ended at summer, which is a time when the veil between the living and dead was the thinnest, and those who had died over the past year were able to walk the earth one more
Like,
time.
I'm not gonna say this right. Somebody say it for me.
Dios de los Muertos?
Yes.
I'm glad you knew where that was going because I had no idea.
I've watched a lot of Coco, and
That's
it's
such a
amazing.
good
It's
movie.
such a good movie.
So the Celts would wear masks and strange outfits to deter the evil spirits from recognizing them. They would
Why?
also, just because it was a time where people who had passed could walk the earth again, so if they did wrong to someone and they were trying to mask their appearance,
Okay.
they started wearing, and they would also wear like animal furs and everything as a celebration towards the end of the harvest as
Okay.
well, which gradually morphed into masks and strange outfits, which people believed would deter evil spirits from recognizing them. They'd also leave treats and wine outside of their homes to deter the spirits from entering their homes.
If they left wine, how would that deter anything?
They left it outside their home.
Okay, gotcha.
So that they would come to that and not enter the house.
Okay.
They'd
So, like,
also-
if we were to stumble upon it and be like, ooh, free wine, and get drunk off their butts and sit outside.
right?
Yeah,
and then it would
sounds
keep
about-
them from entering their
Sounds
homes.
about right.
They'd also parade to the edges of the villages with offerings in an attempt to coax the spirits away from the houses.
I like that.
The Celts believed that the gods controlled the sun, and the shortening of the days were a way of the gods showing their powers. So
Okay.
going into the fall when the days shorten and they're not able to harvest, and they thought it was the way of the gods basically controlling the people and showing their powers.
I like it.
Large bonfires would be lit as a symbol honoring the gods, and they would recite prayers in returns for the sun.
In
So-
returns, as in for the sun coming back?
Correct.
Okay.
Because, you know, as far as they knew, the gods were taking away the sun as a form of punishment or to show their powers. So they thought if they, like, did something to honor them or recite prayers, that they would take pity on them and return the sun so that they can continue the harvest.
Gotcha.
So, after years and years of the sun not coming back at a normal time until spring, like, did they not ever catch on?
I don't know.
I
I mean,
Nah.
like I said, this
Religion
was
is
back-
a powerful
right.
thing.
To thank the earth for her sacrifice during the harvest, the Celts would offer blood sacrifices to the gods. Cows, horses, and other animals would be thrown onto the large bonfires.
Oh, how sad.
So, like, would it be I don't know, what's the importance of that? Why cows, horses, and what have you?
It's a blood sacrifice. It's basically if they had a good harvest, they would sacrifice to the gods.
Okay.
Just to thank them for their bounty and for the harvest that they were able to provide. The ceremony was basically to honor the gods and honor the harvest, to show them that they were grateful for what they got, but also to see if they could turn, because like I said, they thought that they had done something wrong. So that's why they shortened the days. But so they were just trying to honor the gods and
Gotcha.
as much as they could.
It's still a bummer, though.
It's a
The
little
whole
bit
idea
of a bummer,
of
but-
sacrifice makes me sad, except for sacrificing olives, like in the Sage episode.
I disagree with you,
Same.
but
Samhain night was considered the best night for predicting the future due to the thinned veil between the worlds.
Okay.
So druids would read the charred remains of the sacrifices, like tea leaves,
Ooh,
To
like
pre-
in Harry Potter.
yes, to predict the future, such as who was going to die, who was going to prosper in the coming year. Because again, this was the Celtic New Year at this
Okay.
point. Prophecies would be spread through the villages, being told long into the night, and the stories can be traced back to what are considered the first quote-unquote ghost stories.
Ooh.
Ah. Thanks for finishing that on your own, too.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Here for you.
By 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of the Celtic territory.
Bummer.
As the Catholic Church grew, the pagan rituals like Samhain were frowned upon.
Bummer.
Over the next few years, festivals were gradually morphed with Samhain celebrations, including Ferialia,
That sounds fun.
Ferialia?
Feralia,
Okay.
Ferialia, which is a day in late October where the Romans would commemorate the passing of their dead.
Okay.
So that was similar to Samhain, but it was just basically a day to remember those who had passed
I like
in
it.
the past year.
Huh.
And also Pomona, which was a celebration to their Roman goddess of fruit and trees,
Oh,
which
so
was celebrated similarly to Samhain with bonfires and sacrifices and just basically celebrating Pomona for the harvest.
I like it. I like it a lot.
At the turn of the 7th century, Pope Gregory III began trying to merge Samhain and the other Roman festivities with the celebration called All Saints' Day,
I've heard of that.
which is a church-sanctioned holiday that's celebrated on November 1st and was meant to honor the martyrs and the deceased faithful. So that was the day that the church would honor any martyrs or like truly involved members of the church.
So we're going from celebrating all of our past ancestors to just the holy ones.
That's what the church,
Okay.
that's what the church was trying to push, was just a day to honor the holy martyrs and the people who were heavily involved in the church who had passed during the year. All Saints' Day again was celebrated similarly to Samhain with bonfires, parades. People would be known to dress up as saints, also angels and devils, to represent the passing of the saints.
I've dressed as an angel and a devil.
It's probably a slutty one.
I did not say anything.
All Saints' Day was also known as All Hallows Day or
All-
Hallowmas.
Oh, I was thinking All Hallows Eve.
Well, it roughly translates, hallow in Roman means holy or saint. So it would roughly translate to Mass of the Saints. So it was a day of Mass and prayer and celebration of those who had passed.
Okay.
Cool.
The night before All Saints' Day,
Which would be All Hallows Eve.
yes,
Hey.
is what we would believe. So All Hallows Eve would be celebrated on October 31st.
Ooh, which is Halloween.
Which most historians believe gradually morphed into Halloween. So you have All Hallows Eve. The drunker and the sluttier that the holiday gets, it turns into Halloween. It's All Hallows Eve.
And now we're in my turf. Hey.
Even though the word Halloween wasn't first published until a poem by a Scottish poet, Robert Burns,
I love
titled
Scots.
Halloween.
I love Scots. Let's do this.
And I am not going to hurt any of your ears by reading any of the poem, but I do
Thank
have
you.
it printed because it's in old Scottish, and I'm trying to find a portion of it that I could read, but it would have been so butchered. So I'll share a link to it on the website and on Instagram. So the term Halloween wasn't first published until that poem, but people believe that All Hallows Eve is what eventually turned into Halloween.
I like it.
In the 10th century, the church began celebrating All Souls Day on November 2nd, which was meant to be a holiday for anyone who had lost people over the past year.
Okay, so we've gone from all of the like sacred people to just anyone.
To any member of the church who had lost someone, that was a day for them to honor them and celebrate their lives. And
So just members of the church or anyone who has lost?
It was a church holiday.
Okay.
So the church did start it because they wanted an opportunity, and also they were trying to kind of take away Samhain. So they were trying to find a way that they could get any of the pagans that were celebrating Samhain to come celebrate with them. So they created All Souls Day for those who had lost people in general over the past year.
Got it. Okay.
So All Souls Day was a day when prayers were offered to souls that may have been stuck in purgatory. It was believed that the more prayers someone received, the more likely they were to be able to move on from purgatory.
So I'm going to be stuck in purgatory forever. Crap.
So they believed if someone, a relative or someone who had passed was stuck in purgatory, and they prayed and prayed and prayed that God would take, comfort and take would feel
Take
bad
pity
for
on them.
pity on them. Yes, and know that they were a good person, that they had all these people that cared for them, that they'd done all these good things, and let them pass on.
You go, God Coco.
Nope.
During the celebration and the parades, poor people started to beg for scraps because they knew it was a day of celebration where people were offering tithes and offerings to their people who had passed and God to move their people on. So people started making what they called soul cakes, which they would pass on to the beggars in exchange for prayers for their dead relatives.
So are these just like little Debbie cakes?
They were just little cakes, and a lot of them, like the pictures I found, had like crosses made out of like raisins or fruit on some of them. So.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
So when you said soul cakes, not gonna lie, I pictured just like a mash of fried chicken and mashed potatoes and collard greens.
Cake.
No,
I just pictured like a mound of mashed potatoes and collard greens with like a cross made out of fried chicken on top.
Wow. We know what Tiffany wants for dinner. So they would pass these out to the beggars in exchange for prayers for their dead relatives. So to basically offer them something in exchange to pray for their relatives so that they could move on.
Sweet.
The practice was referred to as going a souling.
Going a souling?
Yes. So when they would come up and beg, once the beggar started to take note that people would give them offerings to pray, they would start going a souling, where they would ask for offerings in exchange for prayers.
So like caroling, but not.
Yes.
Okay.
It was eventually taken up by the children, who would visit their neighbors, and they would give out food, money, treats, in celebration. So they would basically like child labor. Here's some treats. Pray for my dead uncle.
I am very okay with this. I like it.
I mean, this sounds very similar to what we do now, minus the praying.
Right?
Really? Yeah, it does.
Leaning on the beliefs of the pagan and the Samhain celebration, where the recently deceased were able to walk the earth due to the thinned veil during these celebrations, and the beliefs that anyone who was stuck in purgatory they could have up to a year to seek vengeance on anyone who had wronged to them.
Oh.
Okay, so that works out well. So if you die on November 1st, you still have time to get people, well you can't really get people to pray for you, but your relatives have time to...
Yeah, I mean, they believed that anyone that may have not been quite saintly enough to go to heaven or not been quite badly enough to go to hell.
I would like to hope that I fall into that category.
They would have up to a year basically to right their wrongs in whatever way they thought that was possible. And a lot of people began to think that if they had the opportunity to right their wrongs, they could also come back and seek vengeance on anyone who had wronged them. But because of that belief, people began to donning masks and costumes to confuse any spirits that may be roaming the earth to seek vengeance.
Okay, so they would be confusing the ones who still had time to try to either be extra good or...
Right, and it was mainly
out
the
of that
people
in-between.
who had done something wrong to someone, like murdered someone or done something wrong to someone who had passed. They would try and don costumes and masks so that if they could come back to walk among everyone else, they would be hidden.
Got it. So,
Okay.
like, if I, heaven forbid, murdered somebody come Halloween, I wouldn't want them to be able to find me and
Correct.
seek vengeance.
So you would just walk among the townsfolk, but you would be in costume so that the spirits couldn't find you.
Okay.
Got it.
So, although some of these traditions can be found in the early roots of America, the celebrations were extremely limited due to the rigid Protestant beliefs. Because as Protestants, they frowned upon any spirits or ghosts. They believed that when you died, you went to heaven or hell. Done. No questions asked. You couldn't come back and visit your family. You couldn't do anything like that.
That sounds right.
So there's not a whole lot that can be found in America until around the 1840s, when the Halloween that we have come to love came with the wave of Irish immigrants during the potato famine.
Hey, yo, Irish. Nice to see you.
Thanks for the potatoes and Halloween.
Oh, man, they contributed so much to my life.
Right?
Two of my favorite things.
So the roots that we have now can really be traced back to them, including their holiday customs, such as the story of Stingy Jack.
Who is Stingy Jack? Does he have anything to do with a jack-o'-lantern?
So it's not just that he's really bad at tipping.
Well, probably a little bit of that as well. According to Irish folklore, one night a conniving local drunkard named Stingy Jack somehow convinced the devil to climb a tree and then trapped him into the tree by quickly carving a cross in the base of the tree.
All right.
Okay, what prevents him from climbing down the other side?
Rebecca.
I'm just asking.
I need you to put your Ravenclaw back in Hogwarts.
Folklore, okay?
Sorry, I'm just...
Jeez, I was really excited for this story.
Put the Ravenclaw back
Putting
in the
a
castle.
cross all around the base of the tree.
I'm
okay?
being quiet now.
In exchange for letting the devil down, Jack made the devil promise that he could never claim Jack's soul. So in order to let the devil out of the tree, he could never claim Jack. Throughout his life, Jack was known to cause ruckus and issues. He was a gambler and a drinker, and he was just a troublemaker all throughout his life. So when he died, he was not allowed into heaven due to his history.
Okay.
Wah, wah, wah.
And he was sent to meet the devil. Satan remembered what Jack had done all those years ago and held up his end of the bargain and kicked Jack out of hell by hurling a piece of fiery coal at him.
Just one?
Just one.
I mean-
fiery piece of hell coal, I think that would get the point across for me.
I feel like that's powerful enough.
Right?
It is powerful. It's just...
It's hell coal
Hell cool.
from Satan's
You haven't experienced hell coal, so your Ravenclaw brain
You are
is...
correct. I have not
Having a hard
I'll see
experienced.
if I can get someone to bring you a piece, okay?
I'm good, thanks.
With nowhere to go, Jack placed the piece of blazing coal into a turnip, which he just to use as a lantern, and he set out to wander eternally until he could finally find a resting place.
I feel like I know where this is going.
With this folklore, and because pumpkins were more widely available in America, they began carving pumpkins in place of turnips and using them as lanterns during the dark time of the year, gradually leading to the jack-o'-lanterns that are now a huge part of our American Halloween celebrations.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's fun.
Yes.
Funner.
Funner. All right, so they would also bob for apples.
I've done that before.
Okay, but
Exactly.
why?
Bobbing for apples used to be considered a form of divination
Ooh.
performed around Halloween. Women would mark an apple and toss it into the tubs, thinking they would be destined to whoever pulled the apple out of the water.
As in destined to marry?
Yes,
Okay.
destined to be with and live with. The Irish brought that tradition with them as well.
So it's like a fun version of arranged marriage.
Yeah, well, it was just kind of like they thought, based on the spirits, that they would direct whoever they were supposed to be with to
This
pull
was
their
Tinder before cell phones.
Ooh. Oh, I like it.
apple. The Irish were also known for being quite the tricksters and loved to play pranks or tricks on their neighbors.
Okay.
They started off innocently enough, such as removing the gates from their fences or switching the livestock in their pens.
So like replacing the sheep with the horse and the horse with the
Precisely. Yeah, they would just
I like
basically
that.
switch their pins around. They would take the gates off of their
You're
front
not
entrance.
fluffy.
They'd blow the lanterns out on their porches. Just harmless, innocent pranks. But they would still wear masks, so if they did get caught, they wouldn't be recognized.
pig. Okay.
And of course, as they do over the years, the quote-unquote harmless pranks got more dangerous.
As humans do.
Yes.
Dang humans.
By the 1930s, especially American humans, let's be real here.
Truth.
By By the 1930s, Halloween had become to be known as a dangerous day, and teenagers would use it as an excuse to pull cruel pranks and cause trouble to the town. So that's more of when, people vandalizing and causing...
Teenagers ruin everything.
Right?
Yeah.
Teenagers these days.
Oh.
The act of trick-or-treating was originally considered an extortion deal. Basically,
What?
give us something or we're going to trash your house.
Oh.
Well then.
Trick or treat,
Yes.
smell my feet.
So they
give
would
me
go up to a
something
house
good to eat.
and basically say, you better have something for us or we're going to trash your house and do pranks and vandalism to your
This
home.
went from fun to not fun.
Exactly. Over time, Halloween became more of a community-centered holiday where towns figured if they made it more of a family-friendly function, it would cause less havoc. With parades, town-wide parties, storekeepers and neighbors began giving out treats to avoid tricks. Children were encouraged to travel door to door for treats as an alternate to pranks and mischiefs.
Sounds good.
So knowing that all their neighbors would have treats, they would just travel around and get treats instead of causing havoc. The 1950s, believed to be in line with the baby boom, and the high number of children wanting to be involved in the holiday party and celebrations moved more from town centers into classrooms and homes where they could be more easily accommodated. So the 1950s is really when it started to become more of an individual home-to-home, widely celebrated holiday like we know it is today.
Weird. I thought it was older than that.
Nope.
Cool.
Thanks to capitalism.
Oh, thank you, capitalism.
Mass production of Halloween costumes started, as did the production of Halloween-themed treats and candies.
All right.
So that's really when you started to see stores put out specific bags of candy to hand out for the holidays.
Like those little wax candies shaped like pumpkin that taste awful, but every grandparent owned.
You mean like the candy corns that aren't corns? They're pumpkin.
Don't touch candy corn because I love candy corn,
I was about
but
to say, hold up.
the
What are you
little
talking about?
pumpkin ones are too much wax. Candy corn is like just the right amount of wax. The pumpkins were too much.
I'm about to sneeze. I think I'm allergic to your bullshit. Nope, I got it. Okay.
I
I'm
did
good.
not know where you were going with that.
I love candy corn, but the little pumpkins are too much.
Yeah, you're too much.
I've heard that a lot.
So now more chocolates and sweets are sold on October 28th than any other day of the year.
Even like February 15th?
Yes.
Okay.
More are sold on October 28th. The number one, what do you guys think the number one treat that's sold?
Hershey Kisses.
Candy corn.
Snickers.
Well, we were both off.
Okay. I
So
do
the
like
number
a Snickers.
one treat sold on October 28th are Snickers, fun size and full size bars. Those of you giving away full size bars, let me know where you're at, please.
Hit me up.
Why Snickers?
I don't know. That's just the number
lot of
one
people like it.
Halloween candy in America.
Sidebar. What's your favorite full size candy bar?
Does it have to be candy bar? Because mine are M&M's.
I mean, M&M's works too.
I'm more of a gummy, fruity candy kind of person, so I would go with Haribo gummy bears.
I would say Twix. If you're handing out full size Twix bars, I'm gonna be your best friend.
Okay, changing my answer. If you can find full size Milky Way Midnights, let me know.
Yeah, I do love a Milky Way. So I guess chocolate, it would be Milky Way, but I'm a fan of Haribo.
All right, so hit us up on Facebook because next week is Halloween and we will come visit.
Yes. Well, and tell us what's your favorite candy.
Yep.
So just a couple little notes here. In 1966, The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown aired on TV, and that's now considered a major marker for Halloween being an official holiday.
I didn't realize how close that was to whenever this whole tradition started.
I know.
Dang.
Charles Schultz knew what's up.
Get
really
it, Charles
did.
Schultz?
In 1978, the movie Halloween was released and is considered kind of the jump start for the major horror movie industry. Of course, you had more scary movies before then that were kind of like sci-fi, like The Blob and Tremors and things along those lines that were released in the 50s. But Halloween was kind of considered what we consider nowadays to be the horror movie genre with serial killers and blood and gore.
Yes.
Got it.
Slasher porn and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It's not what you think it is, Tiffany.
Don't get too excited. So Americans spend $6 billion a year
On candy?
on Halloween.
Okay.
2.5 being on costumes. So that leaves
Jeez.
$3.5 billion basically to candy and decorations.
I could see decorations being
Yeah,
a big
'cause-
part of that
yeah.
because
'Cause
they're
I'm-
expensive.
Yeah, because some people create their own haunted houses in
Yeah.
their own yard.
Well, I bought a house November of last year, and like I'm thinking about decorating for Halloween, and I'm super excited about it. But I think about how much money I could spend decorating for Halloween,
Yeah.
and I kind of want to vomit.
It's fine. What you do is you wait until after Halloween, wait till everything's 50% off, and then next year.
Go all out.
See, this is what you do. This is what a house in my neighborhood did on the one of the rare times I went trick or treating. Is they had the mom like giving out the candy, and then they had the dad dress up as something, but he wouldn't move.
I hate that.
He wouldn't move until like the kids were right up against the door, and that's when he would move.
Sure. I'm
There
proud.
was
The
a
old-
house in my neighborhood growing up where there was somebody standing under the porch. And
Nope.
every like
Nope.
fourth or fifth kid that came up, they would grab their legs as they were climbing
Nope.
the stairs. Yeah. No.
That is like number one fear for me. Like if I
I
go
peed
see
my
a horror
pants.
movie, I
Nope.
will like if Hagrid and I go to see a horror movie in theaters, I will make him get in the car first, open my door so that I can like run and jump into the car because I don't even remember what movie it was, but we went to go see a movie and the killer hid underneath the person's car and
So-
slashed their ankles
Ugh.
when they were going to get in the car. So ever since then, it is like nope, 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 nope.
Do
nope.
you
That's a whole lot of
remember-
nope.
Do you remember when we went and saw The Sixth Sense and my mom, we went into my bedroom, you and I, we sat on the bed and we were playing, and my mom thought it would be funny to go outside and beat on my bedroom window and scare
Your
the
mom sounds awesome.
literal crap out of us.
Both of us.
Oh,
I'll take a.
My God, I almost died from a heart attack that night, and I was like 12.
Oh, it was amazing. But we forced her. Like, we were insistent that we wanted to go see this movie.
I don't know why, because I'm such a scaredy cat.
Probably me. My
You.
bad.
So what, you're a scaredy cat. Why are you here?
Oh, because of Ashley.
Me.
My bad. Oh.
So now Halloween is celebrated internationally, and it is the second highest grossing holiday next to Christmas.
Huh.
Makes sense.
However, each country has their own holiday tradition.
Ooh, could you give us some examples?
How did you know?
Again, this like psychopathic, not psychopathic, psychic.
No,
No,
that's
you
fair.
had it right.
So in Germany, they're known to hide their knives in order to keep the
What?
returning spirits from harming themselves or others.
Hiding their knives where?
They would just, like, instead of having them in a knife block on the counter, they would tuck them away so that nobody could walk by and be like, hey,
That's a nice
that bitch upstairs pissed me off while I was alive, so let me grab that knife.
Okay.
In Sweden, Halloween is known as Alla Hagensdag.
A la Huggins
Alla Hagensdag.
All I can think about is like Haagen-Dazs ice cream and a hot dog.
See, I was thinking about some sort of like epic hot dog with epic toppings, but I'm not sure what they would be.
So dog is day in Swedish,
Okay.
in
Oh.
case. So Alla Hagensdag, which basically comes out to All Hallows Day.
Okay.
But
I'd prefer hot dogs.
they have a 6 days of celebration.
Jesus.
School children get time out of school,
Why don't we have this?
right?
I'm down.
I feel like we should have our fall break around Halloween, not
You
Thanksgiving.
keep your Easter celebration. I'll take my Hallows Eve.
right?
Yeah, Easter comes in packaging that you have to like unpackage.
Yeah, it's Easter. I mean, I like the candy.
Easter eggs are
but
silly.
I'm a fall lady.
Yep.
Back to what Tiffany was talking about. In Mexico, Spain, and Latin America, they celebrate El Dia de los Muertos, which is the Days of the Dead, but it's along the traditions of Samhain and
Okay.
everything else. They remember their deceased relatives by constructing altars in their homes with candles, water, treats, and some of their deceased favorite things.
Wait, deceased favorite thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like-
person who had passed. Like if
Okay.
Tiffany
Like if I would
died, I would
pass.
put sprinkles and
Because
glitter.
I'm
I love
imagining
you.
like literal dead things.
No,
like being,
No.
okay.
not their favorite deceased things.
No, like you would not dig up Scamp and Chomper and put them out for me.
No.
Scamp and Chomper.
Those are
Yeah,
her
those are my
puppies.
2 favorite puppies growing up.
Oh, this took a turn. I'm
But
sorry
no,
for
this
asking
is like
question.
Tiffany, Rebecca. If you passed, and I was trying to have you, if you were still wandering the earth, to come to me, I would put a bottle of Cab Sauv. I would put
A stuffed fox.
a stuffed fox. I would put some tools. I would put something
Totoro.
technological. Totoro.
Yeah.
Totoro.
That would work.
So,
that would work.
Yeah. So some
Yeah.
of their deceased favorite things.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
Ashley would put out sprinkles for me.
Yes, sprinkles and glitter.
Sprinkles
Yes.
everywhere.
And a book.
Yes.
A new, like, whatever series she was reading when she passed, I would put out the newly released one of that
my
one.
God, this is why you're my soulmate.
Right? I would get you. I would trap you. You'd
I
be
got
stuck
you.
here forever. You would never be able to go to heaven or hell because I would
That's
be
fine.
like, you just want to hang out with me until I die, and then we'll figure out how to get there together. It's
That's
fine.
pretty accurate.
And then you guys would just wait for me anyway.
Exactly, because you're adopted in.
Mm-hmm.
You would die and be like, oh, crap, you two. Why did you wait around to
Damn
me?
it. Why are you still
But
here?
like, it wouldn't be a question where y'all would be waiting.
This is
like, I would
true.
just know.
Yeah, you'd die and
you
just,
would
like,
just find
hang your
Gus
head.
would be like hanging out in a corner constantly, and you'd be like, Tiffany, Ashley, stop petting my cat. I need to feed him.
Go away. Come back when I pass.
So that is Halloween and how it's celebrated. I found these little tidbits, and I wasn't real sure where to put them, but I wanted to share it.
Yes,
because
please share.
you always hear these stories of people that are trying to like make Halloween still to this day is like a bad holiday, and how like kids are being poisoned from candy and
Razor.
The razor blades.
and
Yeah.
apples. Yeah.
Was that ever really a thing, or was that just something?
Nope.
Go figure.
That was
thought
a
it
mom
was.
trying to scare her children. There are only 2 documented cases of people dying from their quote-unquote Halloween treats.
And
Oh,
not
man.
from razor blades, probably.
Not from razor blades. Well,
dang.
the second one I can't say 100% what happened.
Okay.
But so the first one is in 1970. A boy.
Nice nose itch. Continue.
No, these are kind of hard stories to talk about.
Oh, no.
dang
A
it.
young boy found and consumed a large amount of heroin
Oh boy,
that his uncle had hidden in the house.
that is not what trick or treat means.
His family, to hide the fact that it was the uncle's heroin, sprinkled it inside of his Halloween candy bag to look like it was the candy that poisoned him instead of his uncle's stash.
Oh my god,
That makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
this got,
Ashley.
this got dark.
Yeah.
Even for Halloween, this got dark.
I had to get a little dark. It's Halloween.
Let's go back to razor blades.
In 1980s, the second case of someone dying from their Halloween treats. A father poisoned his own children's candy to collect on life insurance policies that he had recently taken out on them.
No.
Oh.
Like, as a mother, I can't even imagine.
Third case is the upside down took them over.
What?
You guys haven't seen Stranger Things?
No.
Oh, damn it.
Dang it. I wish I could get that
Sorry.
reference.
I mean, yeah, I'm totally hip and down with new Netflix series.
If you guys like 80s era anything really, especially 80s era horror flicks, you would love this show. How have you guys not seen this show?
Because if you were to log onto my Netflix account right now, it'd be like, bitch, how many times can you watch Beauty and the Beast?
Mine would be, Tiffany, you've seen The Office 12 times. Pick another series, for God's sakes.
Mine is why are you still watching BoJack Horseman?
Yeah, my Netflix is run over by my almost 3-year-old.
See,
So I don't
You
get to
can
choose.
create different profiles.
We do have separate profiles, but when I have a chance to sit down and watch Netflix, it's watching a movie with him.
Fair. Okay.
So,
Halloween. Anyway.
yes. So,
Halloween.
it's Halloween.
That's really good. I can't do that.
And you're wearing a Nightmare Before Christmas
Of course.
t-shirt.
It's
I love
the
it.
most wonderful time of the year. Spilled with... I'm not going to pull on another VeggieTales song with you guys. I totally didn't prepare one in the car. It's just not the same when it comes across... when it's not as natural as the VeggieTales was.
I do
That's
kind of hear
true.
what you sang in the car, though.
Huh?
I did kind of want to hear what you sang in the car.
Let's see if I can remember.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Filled with sweaters and football and candy and coffee and Oktoberfest beer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Cheers to
Yay,
Halloween.
Cheers!
That's
Those
beautiful.
of you that are going to be going out celebrating this weekend, please be safe. Make smart choices. don't get caught up with any spookies.
Check your candy for heroin.
Don't eat your uncle's heroin, okay?
Dang.
I would bring
my
it
God.
down.
That's what
But
I
yeah,
do.
Halloween falls on a Wednesday this year, so hopefully those of you that are celebrating, you celebrate 2 weekends and a Wednesday, and you make the most of this holiday.
Or just the whole week. Go for it.
Yeah, why not? Different costumes. I want to see pictures of all 5 of your costumes that
Not
you wear
just
to work.
Ashley. All of us want to see costumes.
Yes. And I plan on wearing a fun costume to match my daughter's. So
Yay!
Yeah, well, do you guys know what you're going to be this year?
So baby girl is going to be a unicorn Pegasus, which we learned is called a
Alicorn.
alicorn for Halloween, and I'm gonna do something along the same lines. I think Walmart has a unicorn onesie that's like $20, and I'm living La Vida Broca.
You need one of those anyway.
I still say
Accurate.
if she's going to be a unicorn / Pegasus that you dress up as Megara from Hercules.
Oh God, yes! I had a dress to do that at one point, but that was before I got pregnant. So
You
we'll
could
see if I
find a
can still
purple
wear
dress.
it. Man, you're killing it, Ashley.
I know. I'm amazing.
go.
It's only my favorite holiday. It's fine.
That's only my favorite movie ever. I was gonna say favorite Disney movie, but no, it's my favorite movie ever. So
Rebecca, any ideas this year?
I want to finally dress up as a Ravenclaw.
Yay!
yay!
Because I need wizarding robes.
Yeah,
I love that.
fair.
Are you gonna dress Gus up as a wizard?
I would like to, but he would probably disown me.
Can you just walk around calling him McGonagall?
I could.
And then you
my
don't have
God,
to dress him
yes.
up as anything.
Perfect.
I
Just
could.
refer
Like,
to him
I
as
already
McGonagall.
have a Luna Lovegood wand. Like, I just need the rest of it.
Except for, was she a Ravenclaw?
Luna?
She was a Ravenclaw. Wow. For some reason, I put her as a Hufflepuff just because I
No.
think I love her so much.
Yeah, she's one of those borderline ones.
Yeah.
All
I think,
right.
like, I feel like Luna, even in Slytherin, like, I feel like she kind of, like, I could see traits of her in each house.
Yes, she is the epitome of.
I just gotta figure out how to curl my hair.
She's
I can help you with that. It's all in her.
Okay.
Ashley, what are you gonna be?
If Bug finally rests that he wants to be Beast from Beauty and the Beast, I'm gonna do a like haute couture / high fashion Lumiere.
Ooh, I know you
Yeah.
were toying with the idea of like a.
Make Hagrid be Clockworth.
I haven't decided what I'm gonna make Hagrid do yet. I thought about doing Gaston and just getting him like a red jacket and having him wear be Gaston because he's got the dark slick backed hair.
Yeah, but
I can kind of see. You gotta keep in mind. I've gotta I walk that fine line with what I can make him get away with.
fair.
So I just baby steps.
Yeah, like
But-
when you were dinosaurs, you put him in like a tan shirt, and you were like, "You're a Jurassic Park."
Yeah, I made him like
employee.
a Jurassic Park guy. I just put him in like cargo shorts and a tan shirt and made him a badge and made him a Jurassic Park guy. And then the first year we went as Monsters Inc. and Dominic was Sully. I can't remember.
You were
Cecilia?
Googly Bear.
Cecilia, yes, the girl with the snake hair. And then for Hagrid, I just put him in a lime green shirt with Mike Wazowski's face on it, like made felt pieces. So I just had to figure out how to slowly incorporate him. But if he decides to do Paw Patrol, which is a very good option, then I'm going to have James dress up as Ryder, and I'm going to be the mayor
I like it.
and walk around with the chicken in my purse.
Yes.
What?
Do not do that now, because I feel like you should.
The mayor from Paw Patrol has a chicken named Chiquiletta.
Can we take a moment to discuss that Rebecca's dying, and we have a former coworker named Lupe who introduced us. She introduced us to the fact that in Mexico, chicken or roosters do
Roosters.
not go cock-a-doodle-doo. They say
Kikiriki!
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So now, Baby Girl's book that I referenced at some point, that, foxes, yip, keep out of view, also says something about roosters saying cock-a-doodle-doo. And every time I read it, I say, roosters go kikiriki. And it throws off everything because it does not rhyme. But I just want her to grow up thinking roosters say kikiriki.
That's
She's gonna
amazing.
be reading through that when she's older, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, they don't actually say kikididi."
Kikiriki!
So here's one for you, Lupe.
All right, everyone. everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Again, please be safe. If you celebrate Halloween, please be safe out there at your parties or whatever you're going to get into.
Check your candy for heroin.
Yes, make sure your uncle doesn't taint your candy. And of course, remember, friends, everyone has something they find odd. Let us tell you why it's not.
If you have anything questionable or anything you'd like us to discuss, you can share them with us on Facebook and Instagram at The Ladies of Strange, on Twitter at Ladies of Strange, or email them to us at theladiesofstrange@gmail.com.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review, and tell us we're doing a great job. Keep it strange, lovelies.
Whoa.